Mount Rushmore of 90s rock for myself. It'd be Soundgarden, it'd be Pearl Jam, it'd be Alice in Chains, it would be, who am I missing?
This is your concept.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Okay.
And how many of Nirvana? How many of those guys on my Mount Rushmore of rock are not here anymore? I mean, Lane's gone, Kurt Cobain's gone, and we lost Scott Weiland 2 weeks ago. And you're still here, still playing, and some guys didn't make it from the 90s?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because I guess the overall attitude kind of ends up being that it's a drug issue, but that's kind of cloudy. I mean, I have other friends that were a rock star or a famous actor. You know, like the James Dean he only made 3 movies, and he's one of the best known actors of all time. And granted, you know, I think everyone agreed that he was really talented.
But he was around,
and he died like in a sort of glamorous, badass way, which is in a little race car on his way to a race, driving it himself.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that, to the legend of that, and something to the story of that. But one of the things that I've experienced over and over again, which I think is a way that people deal with it, particularly when it's someone who's already kind of celebrated for something, is that we invent this idea that somehow there was like it was predetermined. I think, you know, and that's where I get impatient with it, because it's if that's the case, it's predetermined with every kid that ends up with a substance abuse habit and dies from it.
But you can't
abuse habit and dies from it.
But you can't change your
millions
path,
of them. Yeah, you can, absolutely.
And you just have to surround yourself
and
with
many
the right
do,
people.
and many don't. Yeah.
I think a lot of the people at fault were the people
don't,
that were surrounding.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another argument too. I don't buy that either.
Well,
I think that's a mother's argument.
Are you a personal responsibility guy?
Yeah, I think that's
you can't blame anybody else.
I think that's a parental angle too, where it's just too hard to put the responsibility on your child.
Or it's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah, it's like, got in with the wrong crowd. And I'm not saying that is entirely wrong, but if someone has a propensity to abuse alcohol or drugs, and they didn't meet the wrong sort this weekend, they're going to meet another guy somewhere else.
At some point.
Yeah, if you have that in you.
Do you ever
it's a matter of sort of course as to when, at what point in your life you run into it and realize, and then you have to confront the problem.
Was there a point for you where, like, I need to grow up?
Confront the problem.
Was there a point for you where, like, I need to grow up? Or do you look at yourself, or do you look at leaving that mindset, that decadent rock and roll thing behind?
I was never decadent, and I was always someone I think that was
in control.
I was always sort of I was used to a certain amount of just kind of expecting a lot of myself and being able to meet that expectation of myself, not of anybody else, and I kind of, that was who I was since I could remember.
Right.
And I think it took me for a good 2 or 3 years of really being in a situation where I wasn't producing anything that I would feel was worthy of what my potential is, and then that was about enough. That's never really been who I am, and it's sure not making me happy.
Right.
And I also, and this could be the way that I was raised. It could be just it could be nature, it could be nurture. But I've always felt like if something's going wrong in my life, if something's going wrong in my band, if something's going wrong in a relationship, I got to figure I just have to assume it's my fault. Do what I can do.
And try to fix it.
Yeah, and maybe
yourself.
if it's not my fault, then at some point that will come out. But in the long run, you know, we're actually having a conversation about people between late 20s and 50s.
Yeah.
It's
just a sad thing for a rock star of that kind of caliber to be found in the back of a tour bus in a parking lot in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I would just add, it's a sad thing for anybody.
For anybody. Absolutely.
You know, in their bed at home.
Absolutely.
In a parking lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that if there's any sort of anything to learn from it, it's that there is no type of person, vocation. There is no categorization of person, man or woman that you can be that is going to be immune to a lot of these things: substance abuse, mental illness, behavioral problems.
It could be behind the closed doors of a bedroom or a tour bus. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of person is behind that door doing that stuff.
No, it can affect anybody and everybody, and no one's immune to it. Even the ones that you would think should have more help and support, maybe, you know. But I don't know. I don't think that. I don't think that at the end of the day, if a person really wants to get better, anything can stop them. And if a person doesn't want to, they won't. Nothing can make them do it. I think that at the end of the day, if a person really wants to get better, anything can stop them. And if a person doesn't want to, they won't. Nothing can make them do it.